So today we're diving into something, well, something really significant. We're talking about healing.
Yeah, healing from, a challenging upbringing, specifically the impact of what one source calls a tyrannical father.
It's a really evocative term, and we're looking at work that doesn't just diagnose the pain, but actually offers like concrete ways forward.
Exactly. Strategies to kind of reparent yourself, find your own agency, because that past stuff, it carries a lot of weight,
Yeah.
often silently.
Totally. If you recognize things in yourself, maybe always trying to please people or this like deep fear of authority.
Or just feeling like you were somehow hated or terrified as a kid. This conversation might offer some, well, objective insight.
There's this quote from the material that just hits so hard. Happy people use childhood to cure a lifetime. Unhappy people use a lifetime to cure childhood.
Oof, yeah, that's powerful.
There really is.
Yeah.
So our goal here is to maybe offer a bit of a shortcut, a framework to start that cure, to move beyond feeling stuck.
Right. To shift from history defining your future into
Yeah.
practical empowerment.
Okay, so let's get into the core ideas. The book starts by categorizing these challenging fathers into old K archetypes. Why start there? What does naming them do?
Well, it helps create distance.
Mm-hmm.
When you can see a pattern, an archetype.
It's less personal.
Exactly. It stops feeling like it was about you or some failing in you. It becomes more like, okay, this was a mechanism, a type of issue he had.
Right, depersonalizes the tyranny a bit, makes it something you can actually analyze.
Precisely. So the first type they identify is the black spade K. Think volatility.
The timer bomb.
Yeah. Extreme mood swings, like sunny 1 minute, total storm the next. And the key thing is this really profound lack of empathy, often triggered by his own stuff.
Like the example they gave about the father flipping out over the word blind.
Right. Because he had an eye condition. The child didn't mean anything by it, but it hid his insecurity, his shame, and boom, volcanic reaction.
God, that sounds absolutely exhausting, like you're constantly navigating a minefield.
Totally. Then you've got the red heart K. This one's different. It's all about image, saving face.
Ah, so polite and charming to everyone outside the family.
Exactly. But at home,
Hmm.
super strict, incredibly demanding. Everything has to look perfect because his reputation is everything.
And if a family member embarrasses him,
Then it's a major crisis. The source mentioned a daughter shamed after her divorce, not out of concern for her, but because in his eyes, she'd shamed him.
wow, you shame me. That's cold.
It really is. Image over everything. Okay, then there's the diamond K. This one can be subtle.
The controller, but disguised as care. I'm doing this for your own good.
That's the one. Highly self-centered, very controlling, pushing kids into careers or majors he thinks are best, ignoring their actual talents or, desires.
Viewing them as extensions of himself, basically, not separate people. Yeah.
Precisely. And the last one, the plum blossom K.
How does that one work?
This type often establishes dominance by consistently undermining the other parent, usually the mother. Creates this clear power imbalance.
And the impact on the child.
A deep sense of unworthiness. They learn that weakness is punished, confrontation is futile. They internalize that they're just not good enough to change things.
Okay, so understanding these types is step one. But then there are the coping mechanisms kids develop, the survival strategies.
Yeah, and these are crucial because while they worked for survival then, they often become the very things holding us back as adults.
Makes sense. What's the first one?
The pleasing type. Learn that appeasement was the safest route. Keep dad happy. Avoid the explosion or the coldness.
So as adults, they're hypersensitive to what others need, always putting themselves last.
Totally. Terrified of rejection, terrible with boundaries. The author even mentioned using tons of positive emojis, like preemptively smoothing things over in texts.
Wow. That's a habit born out of fear, isn't it?
Absolutely. Just trying to manage everyone else's feelings, which, leads nicely into the next type.
The avoidance type.
Right. They learn to retreat, find safety in withdrawal.
And that looks like.
Well, it could be literal withdrawal, isolating themselves.
Mm.
Or, ironically, it can look like the opposite, workaholism, the always running machine.
Using perfectionism or busyness to numb the inner pain.
Exactly. Dissociation through doing. Or, and this is tragic, repeating the pattern in relationships, compulsively choosing partners who are maybe narcissistic or cold, just like dad.
Ouch. Familiar pain feels safer sometimes, I guess. What about the lying flat type?
That's like the ultimate surrender to the pain. It's learned helplessness.
They just concluded nothing they did mattered.
Pretty much. Resistance felt impossible, so they just stopped trying. As adults, this often shows up as a real lack of drive, maybe social isolation.
Using passive coping, like endless TV or internet.
Yeah, anything to just numb out. And we should also mention the fighting type.
Ah, the one who mirrored the aggression.
Right. They learn to fight back, which seems good, but they carry that battle-ready stance into everything. Relationships become competitions. It's often a kind of narcissistic defense.
Okay, so we see the dynamics, the coping styles. This brings us to the core philosophy for change in the book. It's not about fixing dad, right?
Nope. That's usually impossible and, frankly, not your job. The real power lies in changing yourself, your internal world.
And the key idea here is mindset is destiny. What exactly do they mean by mindset here? It's more than just thoughts.
Oh yeah, much deeper. It's the ingrained assumptions, the mental images, the stories you hold about the world and yourself. They dictate your automatic first reaction to things.
Like your example about crowds. One person feels energized, another feels threatened. Same stimulus, different mindset.
Exactly. That's the imprint. And the book gives this amazing little chain for taking charge. Whoever suffers, changes. Whoever changes grows. Whoever grows, benefits.
I love that. It puts the person who suffered right back in the driver's seat. The suffering becomes the catalyst.
Precisely. It shifts the agency completely.
So if the change starts inside, we have to talk about the emotional tangle. That feeling of loving and hating the same person, it's intense cognitive dissonance.
It really is. And it's where so many people get stuck, you know, feeling like they have to choose one feeling or the other, either total forgiveness or total condemnation.
But the book says that's a false choice, a trap.
Absolutely. The solution they propose is developing non-integration ability. Sounds a bit academic, maybe.
Yeah, what does that actually feel like?
It's about tolerating the contradiction, just letting it be. You don't have to smooth it out or make it make sense.
So you can accept that the person who caused immense pain might also have had moments of care without excusing the pain.
Exactly. Think about that story of the daughter. Hated her volatile father, swore she did, but then remembers him quietly putting a mosquito coil in her room when she was pretending to sleep.
Wow, that tiny act of care doesn't erase the bad stuff.
Not at all. But you don't have to erase the mosquito coil either. You hold both realities. He was volatile, and he did that small, quiet thing. It makes him less monolithic, less purely monstrous.
And maybe less powerful in your head.
Yes. Which is crucial for dealing with the inner father, that critical voice inside you that keeps playing the old tapes.
The internalized voice of criticism or control or neglect still running the show years later.
That's the ghost in the machine. And the book suggests a 3-step process to start, well, exercising it.
Okay, what are the steps?
First is acceptance, but not agreement. You just acknowledge, okay, that critical voice is here, and yeah, my inner child feels wounded. You observe it without validating the criticism itself.
Like noticing the weather without arguing with the rain.
Great analogy. Yeah. Then step 2, refuting. This is the active part.
Fighting back internally.
Yes. When that automatic thought pops up, you're useless, you'll fail, you're not good enough, you consciously challenge it. You insert a different thought, a reality-based positive response, you interrupt the pattern.
So you're actively replacing the old recording.
Right, and that leads to the 3rd step, reinforcement.
Building proof.
Exactly, building self-efficacy. Every time you successfully refute that negative voice and choose a different response, you gain confidence. The inner child starts to realize, hey, I can react differently. This isn't inevitable.
Okay, so that's the internal work. But what about actual interactions? Those moments when you're face-to-face and things get tense.
Yeah, real life happens. For that, the book strongly recommends nonviolent communication, NVC, but framed specifically as a tool for self-defense and boundary setting.
So not trying to make them communicate better, but protecting yourself.
Precisely. It boils NVC down to a really simple, powerful formula for stressful moments. Say the fact, say the feeling, say the request. 3 parts.
Okay, walk me through it. Let's use that example of the parent criticizing cooking. How does NVC sound there?
Instead of getting defensive or shutting down, you'd say something like, Dad, when you yelled about how I was chopping the vegetables, that's the fact I felt really frustrated, kind of scared. That's the feeling. I'd request that next time you give me specific guidance calmly instead of yelling, that's the request.
Wow, okay. No blaming, no attacking, just stating your reality and what you need.
Right. It defines your boundary clearly, protects your emotional space, and it completely shifts the dynamic away from the usual argument pattern. And all of this, really, it circles back to that core idea of task separation. You take responsibility for your response.
You can't choose your family, but you can choose how you respond to them. It sounds simple, but it's
It
profound.
really is. And one big area where choosing your response is vital is dealing with what the book calls the creditor mentality.
Ah, the parent who acts like you owe them your time, your money, your life choices because they raised you.
Exactly. And the crucial insight here is that trying to pay back this perceived debt with gifts or endless sacrifices, it never works.
Why not?
Because what they often crave is an emotional validation or control that they can't truly receive or that you can't genuinely give in that way. Trying to buy approval just feeds the dynamic.
So what's the strategy then?
Stop trying to trade material things for emotional value. Instead, set clear, firm, practical boundaries.
Like, instead of buying an expensive gift you can't afford hoping for warmth, you just say,
My budget for the party gift is X dollars. Or, like the source suggests, you firmly disengage from things that drain you, like constantly being asked to check out endless bargain deal links sent to the family chat.
you conserve your energy, you choose where to invest it. Makes sense.
Yeah. And the ultimate aim of all this work, this internal shifting and boundary setting, is to become what the book calls a flourishing person.
Beyond just coping, right? To a state of actual well-being, vitality.
Exactly. And they say reaching that state requires cultivating three specific hearts:
Okay, what's the first heart?
forgiveness, but crucially, self-forgiveness. Unconditionally forgiving yourself for being wounded, for the ways you coped, for carrying the resentment. It's about releasing your own psychological burden.
Letting go of the weight for your own sake.
Oh,
Okay, what's second?
the dullness of heart,
Mm,
which sounds weird, but it means selective ignorance.
but tuning things out.
Kind of. It's the ability to shield yourself from unnecessary noise, other people's judgments, that lingering inner father criticism. You develop a thicker skin, focusing on your main mission and deliberately ignoring distractions.
A healthy level of not caring about the wrong things. I like
Yes.
that. And the third heart.
The upgrade of heart. This is about embracing continuous growth, seeing yourself not as fixed, but as always evolving.
Recognizing that the you today is just one version on the way to the next.
Precisely. Like the ship of Theseus metaphor, you can replace parts, strengthen areas, intentionally become a better version over time. It's an ongoing commitment to learning and improving.
So you go from seeing the problem to setting boundaries and rewriting the internal script, all the way to actively designing this flourishing future.
That's the path. It's a journey.
It really is. And the final message seems to be, you are absolutely not defined by the shadows of your past. You're defined by the light you choose to pursue now.
Yeah. Winning isn't about the starting line. It's about the turns you decide to make along the way.
And you can start making those turns today, just by choosing one different response, one small boundary, one moment of self-compassion.